Did you think Fallout 76 was a steaming pile of trash? Were you promised a canvas bag, but instead got a piece of plastic?
Yeah, it's just the bag where you can put stuff in it. Pretty nice. I might use this for, long trips.
Did some idiot at Bethesda give out your personal information, credit card number, and social security number, the room that you sleep in at night? Are you tired of Bethesda's shit? If you answered yes to one or all of those questions, you're in luck, because a new contender has entered the arena.
Wondering what's going on, eh? One question first. Are you feeling anything that can be construed as explosive cell death? No? Wonderful. Let's get started.
Things aren't looking good for Bethesda right now. It's been a pretty rough couple of weeks since the launch of Fallout 76. Now, I'm not gonna hide behind the fact that I was one of the few people on the internet who thought Fallout 76 wasn't a complete waste of time. But regardless of what I think, there's no denying that this was one of the worst reviewed and most hated Bethesda games of all time. And as if it could get any worse, now they have a direct competitor in the Outer Worlds, a new single-player first-person sci-fi RPG from Obsidian Entertainment. You might have heard of them before because they're known for making some pretty good RPGs, including the Knights of the Old Republic, and yes, Fallout New Vegas, a fan favorite in the Fallout franchise. These are the guys who made it, and they're making a game that's looking pretty damn similar, and they're not bashful about it either. So I'm going to talk about some of what this game is all about. Start with the bare bones basics. Again, this is a player-driven story RPG. It's going to be one of those games that they let you play how you want. So the choices that you make are not only going to affect the story, but the character, your build, the companion stories, and what sort of endgame scenarios that you end up in. And a great example that they gave, you start the game in this cryo-freeze chamber and are rescued by a scientist. He's basically the guy who brings you back to life, but you can betray him immediately, turning him into the government. You can effectively play the game any way you choose. You can be the hero, the anti-hero, you can be a full-on mercenary, you can be a psychopathic killer. So again, this immersive, play how you want, story-driven RPG. There's going to be a full character creator in the game, although it's worth noting that you play only in first person, so even though you can make the character look the way that you want, you're not really going to see him all that often. The main character also isn't voiced, and this is one of those things that some people are going to hate, but frankly, not voicing the main character, it just gives them a lot more options for dialogue and interactions in the world, albeit text-based. And speaking of text-based, it's got a full range of dialogue options with NPCs, a ton of different ways that you can respond. The game will have 3 dialogue skills, and those are lie, intimidate, and persuade. And those skills not only play a role in conversation, but can also play a role in combat. You can also play this game as a dumb character, something that Obsidian has done in the past. You're gonna have various options in certain dialogue situations to just ask something really, really stupid.
Everything's under control now, though, truth be told.
We're not all as simple as the captain.
There's also 6 skill types in the game. The game's gonna have hacking and lockpicking systems. And another really interesting system that they're gonna be having in the Outer Worlds are called character flaws. Known as phobias, these are optional flaws that you can choose to give to your character. So if you keep getting attacked by raptidons, you can take the raptophobia flaw, which is gonna give you a debuff when confronting them, but also reward you with an additional character perk. As I mentioned, there are companions in this game, and they're gonna play a pretty big role. They're armed with their own unique abilities, and they also have their own missions, motivations, and ideals. They're gonna have opinions as well on everything that happens, so if you're getting dialogue and they don't like what you say, you're gonna know it. They're also gonna help you out in combat. They've got their own special attacks, although you can equip them with whatever type of weapons that you want. Something else that was interesting that I learned is that they don't actually have their own inventory, but if you have companions with you, it will expand the inventory that you have. I also want to talk about the combat, because with seeing some gameplay footage, the combat was looking pretty good. Both the melee and ranged combat looked like they were really impactful. You saw a lot of flinching and responses from the enemies as you hit them, and it looked like the weapons had some weight behind them. The game is going to have a system similar to VATS that will slow down time. You're even going to be given details on the target, like their health, their armor, and even their faction. There is a stealth system in the game with indicators for enemy awareness and detection. Now, this is a lot of the basic systems and how the game plays. ways, I want to briefly talk about the story as well. So the general premise is that you're on this colonist ship that was found on the edge of the galaxy, and you wake up in the midst of this deep conspiracy threatening to destroy this colony, and you're gonna go out on a mission and try to discover the mystery of what exactly is going on. Now, there's a couple other things that I read from interviews. One is that there's gonna be no romance options in the game. They talked about this, but that just wasn't fitting the type of game that they want to make. And also, one of the biggest things about this, and why it's not really, I think, a direct replacement for a Bethesda Fallout Elder Scrolls experience, is because it doesn't appear to be an open world. It instead appears to be these different instanced areas. Now, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just different. So again, while I want to call this Fallout in space, it is worth noting that again, it doesn't appear to be an open world experience. The game is also leaning heavily on this wisecracking humor. Some people are gonna like it, other people probably not so much. I think it adds a bit of personality, so I'm pretty fine with that. And I think the best thing that has come out of all of this is just the Fallout versus Outer World memes that we've been seeing when they fucked up the game series you have created, but then realize it means more people that are looking forward to your next game.
You just keep being you.
Try not to break it. Break it. Oh, the contrast is perfect. Let us make another Fallout. No. Announce space Fallout. Huh? It's great. So the Outer Worlds has been in development for 2 years and is planned for a launch on console and PC next year in 2019. And again, this was one of the things that I was most interested in from the Game Awards. I think it looks good. I think it looks pretty interesting. Fallout in space is, again, the most reductive way to put it. It's going to be similar in a lot of ways. It's from the company that made one of the better and fan favorite Fallout games in the past. And it comes at a perfect time. You know, Bethesda, it hasn't been a great time for them. I know Fallout 76 was never intended to be like a traditional Fallout experience, but regardless of what they intended, a lot of people were just very unhappy with what they ended up getting. So now that we've got this company swooping in and doing this immersive, story-driven RPG experience, the timing couldn't be better. Like, the Outer Worlds is really primed for success. I think there's gonna be a lot of people really excited to learn more and get the chance to play this game, and I'm one of them. So 2019, the launch of the Outer Worlds, can't come soon enough. Looking forward to learning more about this game, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Kind of wrapping up, talking about everything we knew. That's basically it. Oh, Fallout in space? Fucking count me in, boy.